this is Miss Smith. We're going to be doing Unit 4.4, Ratios and Pi. Okay, so in this lesson today, we will combine our knowledge of proportions, which we created WGU, and circumference of circles. Our main question is, what is the relationship between circumference of a circle and its diameter? So we're going to be focusing solely on circles today, and we're going to be seeing if they're similar or not. So that's the main thing, is we've been doing triangles, rhombuses, rectangles, squares to see if they're similar. Now we're going to be working with circles. So circles have some unique things about them because they're not a polygon, they're their own, which we call a circle. So you must know these vocab words below. Radius. The radius is a line segment with one endpoint from the center of the circle to the outside. So the radius starts right in the middle and just goes anywhere from the middle to the side of the circle. So it doesn't necessarily have to be directly like this. It can be anywhere. So these are all radiuses of the circle I just made. Okay, so then the diameter is made up of two radiuses. So it's a line that passes through the center of the circle and is twice the length of the radius. So this would be my diameter from here through the center all the way to the other end. So from here through the center all the way to the other end. From here, so these are all, oops, I missed the center. These are all diameters, so they're pretty much your radius is added together. Okay, so here's a picture of what the definitions of a circle is. So radius is the shorter word, and so a shorter line. So what I remember radius is when I have a radius, a lowercase r looks like that. So you can remember radius by, a lowercase r just takes up half of the circle. So the way I remember diameter is diameter goes through the middle, and we make a capital. Since it's bigger, it's a longer line, so it's a capital letter. So this makes a D. So you can remember R for radius is half, D for diameter is the full thing. So we need to make sure we memorize these two and know them by heart and what they look like. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is the circumference. Circumference is the distance around the circle. So as you see in the picture, this is your circumference. It's the distance from here all the way around the circle to there, okay? Or from here all the way around to there. So your circumference is the distance around a circle. It is exactly like perimeter of a polygon. So the perimeter of a polygon is you add, each side to get your perimeter. Well, circumference is the exact same thing as perimeter, but for a circle. Okay, so we're going to be determining proportionality in circles. This means, are they similar or not? Okay, we're going to see if they're proportional, which is related to are they similar. So the connection between circumference and diameter of a circle can be represented with the ratio. Ratio means comparing two things. Okay, so we're going to be comparing circumference and diameter, so circumference over diameter like a fraction. So when you divide, okay, fraction means divide, circumference divided by diameter, you're going to get a new word we're going to learn, which is pi. So C divided by D, which is circumference divided by diameter, is going to give me pi. This is another way to show pi. And we see this down here. Pi is represented a few ways. It's represented by 3.14, 22 divided by 7, which is going to give you, a irrational decimal, or the symbol pi. Okay? So we're going to be comparing circumference and diameter of circles to get pi. Okay? So just like we determined if two polygons were similar or not by their proportional sides, which we set up a WGU, now we're going to determine if two circles are proportional by their radius or diameter and their circumference. Okay, so let's try an example. It's pretty easy. Okay, are the circles proportional or not? So remember how we proved, is this triangle similar to this triangle by setting up a WGU and seeing if when we reduce it, if it gets the reduced fraction, or if we cross multiply each one if we get the same number. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing. We're just going to be setting it up in a different, or setting it up with specific words. Okay, so set a proportion using corresponding lengths of radius and diameter using a WGU chart. Okay, so they want us to get radius and diameter. Okay, so when we look up here, we're going to have to find the radius of this large one and the diameter of this large circle. We're going to also have to find the radius of the small one and the diameter of the small one. So when we go down here, we're going to have to determine which circle is this one and which circle is this one. Well, we don't really have an unknown here, so let's make this our G and this our U. You could make this your G and this your U, because it doesn't matter, because we're just proving we have all the information. Okay, so we're just going to see if these are equivalent or not. They equal the same thing reduced down. So let's go with our G, and this is going to be our bigger circle, so we're just going to focus solely on our G circle. So what's the radius? Very good, it would be 8. It gives us that. So what would our diameter be if our radius is 8? Good. Okay, what's 8 plus 8? That'd be 16. So our diameter is 16. Okay, so radius 8, diameter 16. All right, next, let's go to our unknown, or we chose circle number 2, which is the smaller one, to be our U. So our radius is half of the diameter, so this would be 4.5. And our diameter, which goes from one end of the circle to the other, that would be 9. Okay, so now we have that information. Our radius is 4.5, which is half of 9, and our diameter is 9. Okay, so now we got to see, is 8 over 16 equal to 4.5 over 9? So are these similar? Yes or no? Okay, well, we can do two things. We can either reduce this down, so what would this reduce down to? Good, 1/2. Okay, what would this reduce down to? Well, 4.5 is half of 9, so this is reduced down to 1/2 by dividing by 4.5. We divided by 8 over here and got 1/2. Okay, so they are similar. So this is definitely a yes, they are similar. Okay, if you didn't realize that if you did it another way with when we did proving, you could also cross multiply these, and each side gets 72. So that's another way you could do it. So either way works. I would do it the 1/2 way. I mean 1/2 and 1/2, because that's easy visual at first. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We have 2 more examples. Example number 1. The circumference of the large circle is approximately 94 centimeters. Okay, so now we're seeing we're working with circumference, but it doesn't matter. We just got to see what the problem tells us. Okay, so we're going to use a proportion to find the approximate circumference of the smaller circle. So just like before, we're going to be setting up a WG, but now we're finding a missing part of it. So now we do have to label a G and label a U. So the circumference of a large circle is approximately 94. So here's my large one, and I know the circumference is 94. I also know that because remember our formula, C divided by D? Okay, I also know my diameter because it gives it to me. My diameter is 30. Okay, so since we had to find circumference and diameter of the big one, we got to find circumference and diameter of the smaller one. So our circumference of the smaller one is what? Well, it's our unknown. We don't know. Okay, it's our x, because it says use a proportion to find the approximate circumference of the smaller one. So we don't know what the circumference is, but we do know what the diameter is because it gives us that part. Okay, so pretty easy. Now we got to fill out our chart. So this would be our G and this would be our U. And I have to put G in here because I have all the information. I have to put my U in here because I'm missing circumference. Okay, so now my G with circumference, it would be 94. And then my diameter here would be 30. So I'm solely focusing just on the G one. Okay, now my U, I do not know my circumference of the smaller, but my diameter I do know is 15. Okay, so we got to find out, we know they're similar, now we have to find out a missing part. So there's 2 ways to do this. Let me kind of outline this. There's 2 ways to do this. We can either cross multiply, okay, so we could do 30 times x is equal to 94 times 15. For time's sake, I'll go ahead and do the math for you. It's going to be 1,410 because we did 94 times 15. Okay, So then we could divide each side by 30, divide each side by 30, and x would equal, go ahead and do the math for you for that, would equal 47, okay, centimeters. That's what my circumference would equal for the small one. Okay, or you could do it another way. Does anybody know another way you could do it? Good. Well, I know that 15 times 2, or 30 divided by 2 gives me 15, or 15 times 2 gives me 30. So then I could say, okay, well, how do I get from 94 to x, or from x to 94? Well, I could do 94 divided by 2, or what times 2 would give me 94? Well, good. It would be 47. So you could do it either way. Alrighty, one more. This one's a word problem with no picture. So the large circle has a circumference of 50. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture. Large circle, circumference of 50, and a diameter of 16. So I know that I have a diameter of 16. Okay, then the circumference of the small circle is 25, and it says we need to find the diameter. So I don't have the diameter here. I don't know what it is. Okay, so here we know our formula is c divided by d. Okay, so I have c divided by d. C divided by d. Okay, so now my g, the big one's going to be my g because I have both or all the information. My small one's going to be the u because I don't have my diameter this time. Okay, so circumference here is going to be 50. My diameter is going to be 16. And then over here, my circumference of the small one is 25. And my diameter is, I don't know, it's going to be my x. Okay? So this one's really easy in my opinion because I see that 25 times 2 would give me 50. So when we set up our proportion, it's really easy to see that I can get from 25 times 2 would give me 50, or 50 divided by 2 would give me 25. So what times 2 would give me 16? Good. It would have to be 8 centimeters, and we're talking about the diameter this time. So diameter would equal 8 centimeters. Okay, my phone's going off, just ignore it. Okay, so that's it for today. Make sure you scroll down, answer all the questions, and this will be due tomorrow, which is Wednesday, so make sure you get this done and on the Google Doc. Okay, I hope you all have a wonderful day.